For the camera, this is my friend, and she is techno, and she is 21, so she's towards the middle of my target audience. And today we're going to be having an interview in this interview we're going to be comparing Dark Tech to a different magazine. But because there is another magazine which actually breaches the gap between goths and techno, I'm going to compare my magazine to two different magazines. Those two magazines are Mixmag, which is designed to appeal to techno, dubstep, house, disco, which is all very techno-y genres. And we're also going to be comparing it to Kerrang, which is a rock magazine, but it appeals more to the gothic side than the actual rock. What do you think about Mixmag?
In general?
In general.
Yeah, I flick through it every now and then. I mean, I don't read every copy, but I look at it every now and then. It's good for a Western evening.
Fair enough. What do you prefer about this magazine compared to Dark Tech?
What do I prefer? What, in general?
In general, yeah.
Let's see. Well, the pictures they have there tend to have a lot more energy than the ones you've got on yours. And, with energy there's always like vibrant colour and stuff like that, which yours tend to be more subdued.
Fair enough. And what do you prefer about Dark Tech?
I like the layout of Dark Tech better. The different things in it interact a lot more than in Mixmag. It seems to be quite straight. And so people can read it and blah 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 blah. But no, I like the way all pictures and stuff overlap and interact with each other much better.
Fair enough. So are there any strong points of comparison you want to make?
Strong points of comparison? In what context?
In any context. So, like, do you prefer the fonts or the masthead of either of the magazines?
I like your heading better. Well, the picture on your heading, your cover page better, because in Mixmag they tend to put it over the top and block out. I mean, you know what it says. It's not really a problem, but I like to be able to read all of the words, whereas you kind of get everything out of the way, and so you can read it completely.
Fair enough. Any other points?
Yours is more colourful as well. In the theme of the Mixmag seems to be more, white pages and just normal text, whereas you've got more colours going on in like your backgrounds and in your actual writing. Your layouts tend to be better as well. You often get a lot of columns, like you're reading like a newspaper or something, whereas yours, you tend to mix it up a bit better.
Fair enough. So, is there any comments, like, for the images? They've kind of stayed out of this conversation quite a bit.
The images, well, some of their images, I said, tend to be more exciting than yours, but the rest of them tend to be quite dull, and there's not that much of them, whereas yours has a lot more images in general, which is good, because I don't like to read too much. I like to experience things.
Well, there you go. This magazine is more for the rock genre, but a lot of gothic people tend to read it, so it kind of comes into what I'm looking for. So, what do you think of the other magazine?
But Kerrang?
Yeah, Kerrang.
Awful. It's really dark. They've always got like really dark backgrounds and colour schemes, and you've got a couple of colours, but they're all really dark, and it's just so manic. There's too much going on all the time. It's just completely chaotic, and they all kind of throw it all in, and but with that, the what do you call them? The title
title of the magazine is called The Masthead.
Yeah, no, the other one, subtitles. What are they called?
They're cover lines.
Cover lines, that's the one. I like how they move them about so they fit better with the picture, but that's only because they really don't have room to put them anywhere else. And but then they go, their cover page is so boring. It's literally just doink, 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 doink. There's no movement, interaction. It's pretty much the same. It's just horrible. I hate it. I wouldn't waste my money on it.
So it's nothing like what you'd usually read then?
No.
Fair enough. What about the masthead itself? Anything to say on that?
Yeah, they always seem like an afterthought. They're kind of fitted in, but also the lines through it, where it's supposed to be broken.
Yeah.
It always strikes me that they only just came up with that about 5 minutes before they had to hand it in. It really does. It just doesn't look like it's been thought out at all.
Fair enough. Going back to the colour schemes, because you didn't really say much on that. What exactly about the colour schemes you don't like?
And the backgrounds are always really black or off black, and then sometimes the actual words are in colours, but then because the background's so black, it doesn't matter how vibrant you make it, always drags it down, so it looks really dark.
Okay, so let's bring that on to a point of comparison to Dark Tech. Is the same sort of thing happening there, or do you see it differently?
No, it's quite different, because what happens with yours is you've got, your background is quite dark and everything, but it's not black, it's just dark.
Yeah.
And then you've got these random pictures and stuff that have these odd like splashes of really vibrant colour, but that is done really well so that it doesn't, because you're into goths as well, aren't you, with this magazine?
Yeah.
It won't worry them because they're odd splashes and they can be, chalked up to mistakes or, poor image choices or whatever, however, because they like to look at things negatively.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, it makes things a lot more interesting because you've got these random splashes of colour and you don't quite know where it is next. It's like an adventure every time you turn the page.
Fair enough. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Dark Tech works really well. I mean, it must be quite difficult to balance because although they're fairly similar, they're quite different. Your different genres you're going for. But I think it works really well because you've got both aspects, and I think it brings it together really well.
Okay, so how does it bring that together?
Well, you've got I mentioned before, you've got the random bits of colour, and then but you've left it quite open to interpretation, like your splats, your 3D splats.
Yeah.
They could be blood or paint or whatever you want them to be. So you can, it's left a lot of the important things quite open to interpretation, so that I will see it as something and a goth would see it as something completely different, and we're both happy, and it works as both things. So it works really well.
Okay. Okay, so now moving on to Mixmag, which is a magazine which you tend to read often. What do you think of that one? How well does that fit its genre?
Well, it does and it doesn't, to be fair. I mean, I read it every now and then, but it seems to go through phases. It kind of alternates who it's going to be aimed at in
Its
each
target
issue.
audience.
Yeah, it changes it because it's open to such a wide variety. Obviously, it can't keep everyone happy all the time.
Yeah.
But it tends to just, certain articles will be for certain types, and certain issues tend to be geared to more one specific thing. You kind of have to wait in a rota till it comes back for you to read it again. Whereas yours, whether it's Dark Tech, tends to do it all the time, and you don't even realise that's what it's doing a lot of the time. It's quite a complicated magazine, but from a technical point of view, not from a consumer side. Well, I can't tell you anything about Kerrang. I don't read it. It's just a mess. Honestly, I swear these guys have such such tight deadlines. You know, you've got 24 hours to get me a magazine, including stories and writing and everything. So I just don't know anything about that one, to be fair.
Okay, very cool.
Sorry, that mustn't help very much.
No, but that's fair enough. If you had a choice right this second, which one would you pick up? Which one would you go for?
I'd go
choose
for,
right now.
Right now, I'd go for the dark tech.
Okay. Why?
Because, well, in Mixmag it tends to have, you know, in its double-page spreads,
Yep.
it tends just to have one great big picture, and if you don't like that one great big picture, then it's quite dull, and then you've only got just these columns and columns to read for the magazine, for the article, whereas your ones tend to have several smaller pictures dotted about, and you arrange your text differently so it doesn't look like sheets and sheets and sheets.
Okay.
And yeah, I just think it works really well. It's kind of intriguing.
Awesome.